In this video, you will see how Google Forms can be used to collect and analyze data. Teachers could use Google Forms informally to collect formative assessment data, or for more formal reasons such as an evaluation of a strategy or program. Data collected could easily be used as evidence to show improvement for the teacher evaluation program. In this video, we will create an example exit slip that a teacher could use to collect feedback from their students at the end of a lesson. To create a Google form, go to Google Drive and click on the New button. You will need to hover over the More option for forms to appear. You could also use the Google menu to go to the form's homepage. Let's start by giving the form a name, which will be Exit Ticket in this case. We can also add a short description if we would like to explain the survey a little more. Notice the hovering menu to the right. You can click the plus sign to add a new question. You could also add a title, an image, a video, or a new section. We won't talk much about sections, but know that you could use this to create different pathways based on the responses to specific questions. Let's add a question and look at the different question types by clicking on the drop-down menu. The first two types would collect qualitative data, and the remaining questions would collect quantitative data. File uploads allows students to attach a file to the form. Qualitative responses will be organized as written text, and quantitative data responses will be converted into charts. For the first question, I will ask for their full name. Notice that Google is sometimes smart enough to change to the appropriate question type as you begin to write the prompt. At the bottom of the question area, you have options to either copy the question, delete the question, and a switch to make the question required, which means that they cannot submit the form unless there is a response to that question. To save time, I will pause and enter a few more questions. During the pause, I added an image to the form and 4 additional questions. Most of the questions are short and long answer, but one of the questions is a Likert scale where students will choose from a drop-down list. I could change that to a multiple choice question or checkboxes simply by changing the selection in the drop-down menu. The drop-down list takes up less space than a multiple choice question, but it requires an additional step to click and then choose the response. A checkboxes question is unique because it allows them to make multiple selections. All of the questions except for the last question are required. I can tell by the red mark at the end of the questions. I want a response for each question, but I decided not to require the last one in case they didn't have a question to ask. At the top of the page, you will find a menu. If you click on the color palette, you can change the theme of the form. If you click on the eye, you can preview what the final form will look like. If you click on the gear, you can change a few settings for your form. You can choose to collect their email, restrict the number of responses, or give them the ability to edit their response or see a summary of their results. Keep in mind that if you restrict the number of responses, they will need to be signed in with their VPS Google account. If you click on the Presentation tab, you can have the form show the progress, shuffle the question order, show a link to submit another response, or create a customized response that they will see after they submit the form. We won't explore it in this video, but know that the Quizzes tab can turn your form into a graded quiz. Once the questions and settings are set, you can send the form by clicking on the Send button. Here you have the option of sending someone an email with the form, getting a link to the form, or getting the embed code that you could use to embed the form in something like Canvas. If multiple people are working on the form, you can click on the More menu and add collaborators like you would with the other G Suite apps. After the users respond to your form, the results will be available in the form. You can access the results by clicking on the Responses tab. On this tab, you are able to send the results to a spreadsheet or toggle a switch to restrict people from taking the survey. Normally the responses would show up below, but so far no one has taken this survey. Let me pull up a form with multiple responses to show you what they might look like. On this form you will see that there were 13 responses. Multiple choice questions are displayed in a pie chart, and drop-down and checkboxes are displayed in a bar chart. Free response questions are organized together so it is easy to see the related responses to a single question. Using Google Forms can inform your practice and give students a voice in your classroom. You now know how to create a form, collect the responses, and view the results, which will save you hours that you would have spent organizing the data on your own.